Hey, you guys. We are back for morning therapy, and we are going to talk again about self esteem. We're going to reiterate this, we're going to pound this in our subconscious until we are at the level where we feel like we are accepting uh, deserving of the love that we want to accept into our lives. It does take a lot of self work in order to rebuild your self esteem up. So I want to just share stories, my experiences dealing with self esteem, and also share how you can help yourself. So we're going to just read off the list that I read previously. We're just going to do this list again. And number one is going to be stop all criticism. And criticism never changes a thing. Refuse to criticize yourself. Always accept yourself exactly as you are. Everybody changes. When you criticize yourself, your changes are negative. When you approve yourself, your changes are positive. So one thing that I always criticized myself on was the things that I was the most talented at. So like I was always overcritical of my music, and also my just my general passions, because I love doing hair and makeup and nails as well. So I was just so overly critical of myself, and I allowed people to come into my life who knew about my self-esteem issues with my certain talents that I had. So they used that to sort of keep me in this cage of like the hamster wheel, just chasing after nothing. So I want to go into this one before I get into number two, which is forgive yourself. I just want to share just like a quick story. So back in, I think, the fall, maybe around like September, I met a guy, of course, at the strip club. So we already know. I met him at the strip club. He's very actively in like the entertainment industry. So he knows the ins and outs more than I do. And I met him, and I saw something in him uh, that I felt, uh, the need to try and help him. And unfortunately, I was trying to help, and I thought he was trying to help, but he was actually just trying to keep me in that hamster wheel mindset. So he came promising offerings that he was not going to keep. And unfortunately, because I didn't have the self-esteem in myself and the knowledge of myself that I don't need anyone outside of myself to achieve my goals, because I didn't realize that, he was able to manipulate me and in turn use me. So this guy, he knows about my music. He knows about everything that I do. Literally, he knows all my talents. Okay, so this guy, instead, he chose to align himself with the mess to try to use me. And actually, I forgot to tell y'all this detail. He actually allowed me to read him with my tarot. Like, I actually went to this guy's place and read him in tarot. And I tried to give him a sort of insight on what he needs to change and what needs to push him further so he can elevate. And he took it as an opportunity to further use me, and I unfortunately did not see that, because I did have the low self-esteem, even when I was starting out doing tarot, because I was always sort of nervous in the beginning, because I was nervous that their ancestors would not allow me to read them, or they would misconstrue it just so to block messages from them to receive, because some messages are not ready to be received right now. So I was always nervous in the beginning with tarot. And actually, I remember very clearly that, he was very engaging. He was very charming, definitely very charming. And he was just another person just there to keep me on that self-esteem hamster wheel, just going nowhere fast. And once I realized that the reason why people hold themselves onto your insecurities is to use you and manipulate you. Once you have that self-esteem and that self-love built up, nobody can touch you. Nobody is allowed to. Nobody can infiltrate. And the next thing I want to do is to get into forgiveness, which is forgiving yourself. Because again, these people who are in your life who mess with you, they know exactly what they're doing. We're all grown as fuck, okay? We're all grown. So they know what they're doing, and all you can do is forgive yourself for even entertaining somebody who was operating on a lower frequency and who you felt that you needed in order to feel confidence in yourself. So once we get to the self forgiveness, we can get into the healing, and we can start to elevate our mind and start to elevate our own consciousness to the point where we don't seek anything outside of ourselves. So one thing we can do to forgive ourselves is think to our past and think of all the situations where we allowed people to basically set our vibration. We allowed them to come in, and we allowed them to take our insecurities and manipulate us. So we have to forgive ourselves first before we think about forgiving anyone outside of ourselves. So another thing that I want to tell you guys about self-esteem, be kind to yourself. Because a lot of these men, what you don't realize is the men who don't value women in itself are just having a sad existence. Because you have to realize that men who don't value women have been hurt consecutively by women. So it's really not our problem or not our job to help people like that, because all we can do is recognize that we entertain someone who does not respect women, and we have to forgive ourselves. Because at the end of the day, all the working, all of the self-love, all the healing, and like coping with your anger and everything, these are all self things. You cannot expect anyone outside of yourself to care as much as you do. And once you start to realize, like, the men that have been in your life, that have been perpetuating or preying on your insecurities, you'll be able to see the signs ahead of time, and you'll be able to come back from it. So be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself, because you have a lot of work to do, and it's not your fault. Once you sit with yourself, once you can sit and meditate and really get a grasp of understanding of your life and how men played a role into your life, or even if you are attracted to women, I don't care, how they played a role into diminishing your self-esteem. So I want to go back to the strip club thing, because like I said, there was a lot of things that happened beforehand that diminished my self-esteem to that point. So there was we're not going to get into all that, because if you know, you know. There was a lot of things that led up to that, but it hurt a little different because he was brown like me, and he did not see the value in me. He saw that this was someone that he could use to uplift himself. And I cannot fault him for that, because I was in search of someone outside of myself to help elevate myself. And once I realized that I don't need anybody, male or female, outside of myself in order to be the person that I know I can be, my whole perception of life changed. My whole perception of everything changed. And one thing you have to do is definitely praise yourself, because if you give someone too much power, especially over your passions and everything, because I forgot to tell y'all, I was actually supposed to like do this on like a big scale, but the person that I was involved with was not as honest as I thought they were. So it just ultimately did not work out, and I saw their involvement in the bullying that that just is not right. But I have to recognize my own personal faults, because I do move into sexuality too soon, especially with men who do not particularly care about women. Uh, so I moved too soon and ended up receiving nothing. So one of my problems was that this person I thought was a real person, but they were just acting. They were just playing a role just so I can be, like the keys, the dangling keys, just so I can be around just enough, just in case, they want to use me. And if, I don't fall in line with their ability to be used, I'm just discarded and they're off to the next one. So when you praise yourself, when you build yourself up, not only does it help others build themselves up as well, but when you praise yourself, you start to realize, like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, what was I really trying to give myself? And I realized that I was trying to give myself the love that I know that I deserve, the financial status that I know that I deserve, and the acknowledgement for my talents that I knew that I deserve. So I, in turn, allowed a man to try and give that to me instead of me giving it to myself. So another thing on the list is supporting yourself. Find ways to support yourself. Reach out to friends. Allow them to help you. It is being strong to ask for help when you need it. Okay? And one of my problems was that I was asking narcissists to help me, who only wanted to, in turn, help themselves. So once I recognized the signs of a narcissist, they usually they have a style, they have like a language that you'll be able to understand very soon. Once you start to see the narcissism, you'll get a clear picture on who's who. And once you really get that engraved into your psyche, and you'll be able to see the signs ahead of time, you'll be able to cut people off earlier. So that is a very important thing to have. Once you do that self-reflection and that self-review, and once you understand the type of people that you have to stay away from, you'll be able to better navigate your life for the future. And so once you navigate your life right now, you'll be able to better plan for your future. Because say I did not recognize the signs of a narcissist, and I kept wanting to get the same love and acknowledgement and acknowledgement for my talents that I wanted, I would have spiraled into a karmic relationship, given the fact that I have not healed from the things of my past. So once you realize that the healing, when you heal, you release the karmic cycles, and once you stray away from the karmic cycles, you then in turn manifest the life that you know that you deserve, and that you know that you can achieve. Because I know I deserve a high vibrational love. I deserve all the love in the world, okay? Because I know for a fact that when you have a vision, and when you have a set plan, and you have a set idea, once you're healed, once you're ready, it's all going to come so quickly for you. So one thing you can do as well is take care of your body, continue to do mirror work, and continue to just show yourself love. And love is love is something as simple like spending $50 at AmVets, like at a thrift store, and just buying new shit like I did. Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's giving yourself a pedicure. Sometimes it's giving yourself a soothing bath. These little things, these self-love things, all in turn boost your self-esteem in the end. So one thing you have to be mindful of is the people that you have in your life who are not at the frequency that you want to be. And I understand pain. I understand the pain of letting people go. But you have to understand that that person, their energy signature is still at a low vibrational state. If they're not growing with you, then they have to be left behind. They have to see your results and understand that growth is what it is, baby. It's beautiful. And another cycle that I had to break from is thinking that because someone has money, that they're high vibrational. So one thing we get confused about in this capitalist society, because money is praised and people who have money are praised, is that we think that the people who have money are high vibrational people because they get so much, from the outside looking in. They get so much. And that's another thing that we have to break, because money isn't real. Okay, it's not real. It is a green piece of paper that has been given value. So once you realize that it's the energy behind the money that really makes the man, and it's the energy behind it's really the energy behind what you do when nobody's looking as well that really makes the man. But I had to learn that people who have money are not better. They're not higher, and they're not necessarily godly people. So once I reworked my ideas around wealth and status, it started to make me realize that I don't need a rich man to support me in order to have my talents recognized and have my business flourish. Nor do I need a narcissist who wants to just dangle cash in front of me to keep me at a certain level to try and elevate me as well. So it was a lot of self-reflection on my birthday. It was just a lot of self-reflection that I did that really made me realize that I am my only enemy because of the things that I still entertain because I have not healed from them. And the thing that you have to realize is that once we heal completely, from every aspect of our lives that we have endured pain, we get this sense of wholeness that we don't need anyone outside of ourselves for validation, for anything. So when self-esteem is in question, loving yourself is very hard. But it's hard because we still do not forgive ourselves from what we put ourselves through. And once we start that process, once we start to build, and once we start to really connect with ourselves more, once we start to connect with ourselves, our whole lives just change. It really does. So I'm going to end this right here. I am going to go into another live just to go into, I think I'm going to do coping skills again with anger, because I do have anger issues and I'm trying to work them out, okay? I'm trying to work it out because I can't just, can't say everything that I feel. So I'm going to end this right here, and I hope you guys enjoy your morning and enjoy this little morning therapy.